I guess in the interim, if you haven't been following us, if you go over to HHWLOD, we've been spending that time, at least through most of December, I guess part of November, talking a lot of Star Wars. We did recaps on all 6 of the original movies, and then, of course, The Force Awakens. So that kind of kept us going and kept us yakking with each other to some degree.
I mean, plus we have our other TV podcasting duties. Russ hosts the It's All Connected podcast. You can also find that at HHWLOD.com, covering all the Marvel television shows. And then, of course, myself and Rich, who's sometimes on this show, are on the DC TV podcast. We cover all the DC-related television shows, of which there are 6 now. So
soon to be 15, I think, or 25 or something.
Well, Gotham is returning, and then Preacher, so that'll make it 8.
Yeah.
Starting to do a full-time job, guys. Come on now.
No, Greg Berlanti, you owe me a check, buddy. At least one.
Comics,
Movies.
music,
or Aaron's blurry pictures, black and white pictures.
Yes. Well, we kept us going and kept us yakking with each other to some degree.
I mean, plus we have our other TV podcasting duties. Russ hosts the It's All Connected podcast. You can also find that at HHWLOD.com, covering all the Marvel television shows. And then, of course, myself and Rich, who's sometimes on this show, are on the DC TV podcast. We cover all the DC-related television shows, of which there are 6 now. So
soon to be 15, I think, or 25 or something.
Well, Gotham is returning, and then Preacher, so that'll make it 8.
Yeah.
Starting to do a full-time job, guys. Come on now.
No, Greg Berlanti, you owe me a check, buddy. At least one.
While you guys are reviewing those TV shows, I'm off reviewing cards, so there you go.
Yeah.
A lot of them lined up. That's it.
But missing this week, Aaron is on assignment. He wouldn't tell us where, so it had to be something really important and top secret because Aaron's like that. And Rich is in parts unknown. We're not sure. He's maybe trying to get out of an outbreak somewhere. But finally missing is Jordan, and I think Jordan is pretty much. I guess the best way to put it is he's going to be on walkabout for a while. So Jordan's probably, he may pop in occasionally. You just never know. But yeah, we'll miss Jordan.
Absolutely.
Hopefully he'll be back soon. He's just got some stuff going on. He's making some personal and professional changes. So like I said, I'm sure he'll pop in from time to time. But as far as being on the regular, I don't think he'll be here very often.
And I think Jordan's been on from the beginning, hasn't he? He's been on almost every single Walking Dead TV podcast there was, even from episode 1, if I remember correctly.
Well, beyond that, he took over the producing duties like a while back, and has been producing the show for a long time. So,
All been him. Yeah.
I mean, even if he wasn't on the mic, he was behind the scenes doing the editing and posting and stuff.
Yeah.
The unsung work of the podcaster.
Yes. And Jordan was in the beginning. So
yeah. But yeah, he was one of the original group on the podcast. And like I said, he'll probably be back. He got bit, so we're gonna have to quarantine him for a while. Make sure,
just a flesh wound.
Make sure. He says he cut himself, but we're not sure. So
that's it. Well, Jordan, wish you well. We're
gonna lock him in the basement like they did with that wolf.
Yeah.
Make sure he's not infected, and then when we get all clear, we'll bring him back out.
Yeah.
We'll give him some meds. He'll be fine. I'll represent New Jersey in the meantime. I'll keep the torch burning.
There you go.
And Jordan will return, I'm sure, soon. So all the best, Jordan.
Yeah, he'll actually he may be closer than you think, at least to me anyway. So we'll see. So yeah, so the plan is to really kind of keep things pretty much as they are. More than if one thing about Jordan was he was like super vigilant about editing the podcast like the night we recorded. I don't think that's probably that schedule's gonna maintain. But more than likely, if whoever takes over editing, it'll probably go up the next day. So if we record, typically we record on Monday nights. The podcast will probably go up sometime Tuesday or Tuesday night, as opposed to the wee hours of Tuesday morning or the very late Monday night. So once things get geared up this coming Sunday and a new episode comes out, just a heads up to everybody that don't expect it to drop quite as timely as Mr. from Jersey used to drop the show.
I'm sure our fans will understand. They are very flexible, and they can wait an extra 24 hours to hear our voices, I'm sure. So they'll bear with us.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Let's hope so.
Yeah.
Except Jerry. Jerry may fall off.
F Jerry. We'd be carrying him for too long.
That's right.
So we thought we would just kind of talk a little bit about the first half of season 6. Second half will be premiering the Sunday as we record this, and then we'll be back for the last 8 episodes. And then I think we'll get like a very short break before Fear the Walking Dead season 2 shows up, but not much of a break because I think it's April that show kicks off.
Yeah, Fear the Walking Dead returns April 10th, so there could be a week or two in between. I didn't do the math. I think next is February 14th starts the next 8 episodes for The Walking Dead. So maybe a couple weeks in there.
Yeah,
actually maybe not.
When does it start? April.
It starts April 10th.
No, there'll be no break then. No,
so it goes right into it.
Yeah, we'll go straight. So no break, no rest for the weary. From here, we're straight on out. So.
Straight on into Fear.
Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah,
I didn't make it to the I think the last couple episodes before we broke with the mid-season. Actually, just the last episode. I did watch it as it came out. I've been doing a really good job of staying current. But I know overall, I think the consensus was fairly lukewarm on how the season ended. To me, I thought it was fine. I think sometimes, or this is how I feel, like people think, well, it's a season finale or a mid-season finale that there has to be a huge death or something huge has to happen or there has to be some kind of major cliffhanger. And I think sometimes it's okay. I mean, I think there was a big enough cliffhanger at the end of this episode, don't get me wrong, but I saw some criticism that's like, oh, there was no major death, and I'm like, well, why does there have to be a major death? I mean, it's it's.
I think there's a certain built-in expectation with a season finale or even a mid-season finale like this one that there's going to be some huge story beat, and usually on The Walking Dead, because of the nature of the zombie apocalypse being what it is, a massive story beat is usually someone dying. I mean, we did have some huge. I mean, this part of the season we had some huge story beats. I mean, Maggie is with child. I mean, that's huge. The whole Glenn thing with the dumpster and all that good stuff.
Trolling us.
Yeah, kind of trolling the viewership there just a little. But I mean, I think what the criticism that I'm hearing that I think you're talking about is, oh, nobody died and this and that and the other thing. I mean, but I think there is now kind of a built-in expectation. I mean, and it's been true pretty much all through the run of the show too, that there is something huge that happens when the season ends or there's a new season finale like this. So, I mean, and I think that's also why the feeling is kind of anticlimactic, is because there isn't that giant huge story be like, oh my god, I can't believe that happened, like we had a Terminus or whatever. We just didn't have that this time. I mean, we did have a cliffhanger, we had scary situations, obviously, them being driven out of Alexandria and all that other stuff, but we didn't have the kind of like I'm saying, like impactful story beat that we normally get on a season finale.
And I don't know. I mean, I think we kind of need one because the way that the show is structured, they actually build it into the first half and second half of the season. It's 8 episodes and then a massively long break. What is it, 3 months practically? And then there's another 8 episodes. And they even call it, the producers, when they're talking about the show, the front half and the back half, and whatever they call it, front 8 and back 8, whatever, however they reference it. It means something to tie us over a little bit. Now, if we go back to previous seasons, I know there's been major character deaths, but what was it? Back in season 4, the prison went down, right? And then season 5, what was the one in season 5? Really? I guess it really wasn't one too much for that one. The mid-season. What happened? Oh, it was the Beth death. Wasn't that? That was the end of season 5 one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I'm not saying it has to be a major death, but there needs to be some kind of cliffhanger, a little bit, to kind of carry us on those 3 months. Give us something to look forward to and say, wow, I can't wait for this to begin again. This is the first time, being a Walking Dead superfan, that I'm almost like, I'm excited for the show to begin again, but I can't wait to see it. Like, I'm not just, oozing with anticipation to see this thing coming up. Whereas when the prison fell and they're hitting the journey on the road, it's like, what's going to happen next? You have no idea.
The interesting thing about the cliffhanger and like the most impactful thing of this mid-season finale was that it's something only people who read the comic would be like, whoa, when they mention Negan.
Right.
I don't want to spoil anything from the comic or what may happen in the show or whatever, but when they mention Negan at the end of that episode, only people who read the comic would know what that meant. It's like seeing Thanos at the end of the first Avengers movie,
Yeah.
Everyone else in the audience is turning to the nerd in their life and like, who's that guy? Or watch this with my wife, who the hell's Negan? Why do they care? So I think it's weird. The most impactful thing to me, anyway, from that episode is something only someone who had read the comics would appreciate.
Yeah, I agree. I guess for me, one thing I don't like is that if you force like some big cliffhanger or big death or some big event to the end of the season, it's almost like you're forcing your narrative to flow a certain way so that it ends there.
And you're saying filler episodes, right? That's what you're basically saying. Okay.
It's worse. Honestly, it's worse in a traditional TV like 22 episode season where you have if they know, okay, by the end of the season we need to be here, and then there's a lot more filler. So in these 8 episode arcs or 16 episode seasons, it's not quite as egregious. But I still think. I don't know. For me, it's okay to just end the season. Like it's okay. Like I think ever since Who Shot JR, or Best of Both Worlds from Star Trek: Next Generation, it's like we're geared to just have this cliffhangery thing at the end of the season. It's almost like, well, if there's not some big thing that happens out there, then it's a disappointment. Which again, I don't know that I subscribe to that really. I'm okay with
cliffhanger. Yeah, maybe just a resolution or something, just something to look forward to. Like in season 2 when they found Sophia finally, it wasn't like it was a cliffhanger. It wrapped up that half of the season. It's like we finally found this girl and Rick shot her and put her out of misery. What was the season 3 mid-season one? I'm trying to remember that one. Was that where they? Oh, that's where Daryl met Merle for the first time, right? And arena
standoff. Yeah,
right. When you see that, I mean, nobody necessarily died right there, right? Except maybe Oscar, but he was only in for a couple episodes. Okay, fine. You're looking forward to. Oh my god, I can't wait until February for the second half of the season to begin and see what happens. Just give us something. Give us a little something to look forward to. I guess make us wait for 3 months.
Yeah, but I thought it was interesting. We haven't seen the cover yourself in guts thing in a very long time, so that's something.
Right.
Throughout the show, I've been like, why don't they fall back on that more? And I guess maybe part of it is it would get old. I mean, as a plot device, it's like, oh, that's how they get their way out of everything. So it was kind of cool to see that kind of show up, which we haven't seen in a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
So that was cool. And just the tension building, of them leaving the house and being surrounded by everybody. So I don't know. All told, I think from really for me from season 5, the show is just kind of, and I mentioned this before after I kind of came back after being away for a long time, it's kind of taken off, and to me it's gone in a really good direction. And, overall, I'm really enjoying the show. And I think, one of the things with Alexandria that works for me is there's more people there. So there's more chance for conflict. I think for a while, the group was together for long enough or split into little tiny pieces that there wasn't enough conflict. The conflict was very focused. It was always like, the big bads, or, when they went to Terminus, or, when we had the governor, they were the kind of focused things. And so having them be in Alexandria, mostly all together and filled with this other community of people, it was kind of cool to just kind of see how people's motives started to change and alliances started to shift, and the way they thought about things changed, and how these other characters coming in have influenced them. So I think, for me personally, I think that's when The Walking Dead works the best. I don't like it as much when it's just like these core 5 characters and we go episode after episode just dealing with them and everybody else is kind of tangential. And that's one of the things since they've shown in Alexandria, they've kind of moved away from that for me.
They're doing a good job. And I thought of that too. I rewatched the first half before this show, and they're doing a good job really fleshing out the Alexandrians. Right? Everybody has their own little story. Even to little Dr. Denise. I mean, she's only been in a few scenes, but you kind of get her already. You know where she came from. She's this failed psychiatrist, and she's kind of into Tara now. I mean, it's just like you know about these people. Even the girl that watches the pantry a little bit. I mean, they've done a little bit with everybody, and they've handled an ensemble cast really well. I will give them credit, even though there is some quote unquote filler episodes in this first half of season 6. And the reason I think that they're filler, the pace is really off from the first 3 episodes with the air horn and the wolves attack, and it was a nonstop just intro to the season, and then it just stopped, boom, and then they went to these kind of get to know you episodes with the Alexandrians again, and then we had the Morgans episode in episode 4 with Eastman. Although I like that one a lot. I don't think that slowed the story down really at all for me. I think the ones in Alexandria slowed it down a bit, but then again, they kind of had to flesh out the Alexandrians a bit.
Agreed. That's kind of where I'm at the end of season 6 part 1. picking up part 2. So overall, I think, like I said, I think the show has kind of rebounded, at least in my opinion, very nicely, and I like where it's going. Which is funny because around this time in the comics is when my interest started to kind of wane. We talked about this a little bit before we recorded, but eventually we're gonna get back and do All Out War Part 2, our comic focused episode, which we did Part 1 some time back, and just haven't kind of had a chance to kind of get our stuff together to do it. But maybe if Fear the Walking Dead goes on kind of hiatus, maybe we'll sneak that in there. But I haven't read past that. The comic really hasn't been grabbing me to read like it did early on. Where I would just devour trades in one sitting, and I'm not sure exactly why. And maybe if I picked it up again and started reading more, as things stay current, maybe I would feel differently. But we'll see.
How do you read them? Do you do it on compendium or do you do the trades, or what do you?
No, I read it in trade.
I like the trades too. Yeah, they're easy
so
to read.
It's funny. I got All Out War Part 2, and then the 2 after that, just kind of like sitting there. And I just haven't even read them yet.
And Jim, you're a compendium guy, right? If I remember correctly.
Yeah, the hard copies I have are compendiums, but I here and there when they're on sale digitally on Comixology, I will pick them up in the 99 cents sale.
Just to have them read them.
Just to catch up and read them, yeah. Because I've been following the story since issue 1, so I like to keep up when I can. So I probably read up to issue 100, maybe a little further, but not much more than that.
So you're at the same point pretty much that Russ is at. Now, I'm deliberately behind. I will catch up for that. I didn't want to be like totally spoiled. I want to stay a little bit behind the TV show, but I'll catch up. I'm sure by the time we get to the next show.
Yeah, before we recorded, I kind of put some Facebook comments out, and I guess now's a good time to kind of talk about those since they're kind of show related before we get into some news bits and stuff. But I just put out that we're recording tonight, and if anybody had any comments, so we had a few people that responded over at the Facebook group.
And by the way, if you'd like to join that group, it's the Walking Dead TV Podcast is the name of the group. We have over 700 members now, which is really awesome. And it's kind of, I don't know, it goes into kind of a dormancy sometimes when the show is on hiatus or break. We'll have like a trickle of news here and there that we'll post there. But once the show kicks in, it's a very lively community of people who like to discuss the current episodes and what's going on. So definitely by all means, if you listen to the podcast, you should join the group as well.
Yep. Facebook.com/WTV podcast.
The Facebook, you may have heard of it. It's very popular.
Popular with the youngsters.
It is.
But Carl Hooker said, I've tried to avoid spoilers, and I'm just a little bit further ahead in the comics than the show. I'm curious how much of the content they will cover this next 8 weeks. Since y'all are fairly spoiler-free, maybe you could hazard a guess or place odds on major and minor character deaths for the second half. Keep up the great work.
I've got some speculation, but I'm not going to hold that to the end or not. That's usually what we do, but if you want to go into it, we can. That's
Yeah,
what it is.
it's hard to, I mean, you're telling us to, not spoil anything, yet tell you what happened, which is
Well, I think
by definition of spoiling it.
Yeah, I just want to know maybe if we could guess what might be coming up on the show.
Pain.
Yeah.
Lots of pain and zombies, buddy.
That's it.
And Lucille. Lucille is on the way.
Yeah.
She's on the way.
I don't really have. I mean, I
How
think
about we put it this way? How about, how things on The Walking Dead usually go from bad to worse?
Usually.
That trend will probably continue.
Yeah.
That's as spoiler-free as I can get.
Yeah, I mean,
Perfectly vague.
even just from a speculation standpoint, I can't think of a character. Like, there's nothing in my head that tells me, oh, I think they're going to kill off X. And not even as a comic book comparison, because I think at this point the show has diverged enough from a character standpoint from the comic that I don't know who's safe and who's not. I always like to say Daryl is pretty safe because Norman Reedus is just such a fan favorite, and
He's huge.
I really think the ratings, whether or not from a story perspective it's the right thing to do at the time, I just think from a rating standpoint, if that show, if he's killed off, I think the show's going to take a hit. Maybe not a tragic hit, maybe not too bad, but
The girls love him.
Yeah,
The women love him. Love him.
I think it'll tick down, and I don't think that's something that they really want to do. I think as the show goes on, honestly, I think Rick is maybe not quite as crucial. I think they could fill that void if they decided to go really bold and kill off Rick. And again, none of what I'm going to say is a corollary to the comics. I'm not giving up anything from the comics whatsoever. So this is just my speculation, totally on what I perceive from the show, not from the books at all. So don't take this to mean, oh crap, they killed Rick off in the comic. No, I'm not saying they did. I'm not saying they didn't. But they didn't.
Still love his hand. We could say that, right?
Yeah, that's pretty common knowledge at this point. But I don't know. I don't think given what they've done to Glenn, I don't think they could get away with killing him off because I think that would be like way. Why go through all that bit of
But that's just what they want you to think.
yeah, there's the
You're
whole
playing right into their trap, Russ.
yeah, the whole crazy reverse psychology stuff, which I guess is possible. But I don't know. Part of it is I like those characters. I like the actors. I like the mix they have now. There's nobody really on that show that I go, man, that character really annoys the hell out of me. I wish
Well,
they really.
Father
Abraham.
Yeah.
Or not Abraham, but Father Gabriel. Father Gabriel.
Yeah, I'm even okay with him because I think he's a.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I
Oh,
mean,
oh my goodness. Okay.
I think he's purposely written the way he is, and I
What
think
about Haircut Boy? What about
Haircut.
You know what I'm talking about? That Haircut Boy.
yeah
Who,
I
Ron?
hate him so much I blocked out his name.
Eugene.
Ron?
No, the kid.
Yeah, Ron.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Porch Dick's son.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, I mean those characters. Who knows? I mean, but as like a shocking death, I just I don't think any of those would be shocking deaths. I think even like Father Gabriel, if they killed him off, I don't think would be a quote shocking death.
There would be applause across the world. The whole world would be clapping at the same time. Okay, cheering.
I think if they kill. Well, I'm sorry. I think if they kill one of the Atlanta Six, as they're called,
Yeah.
which is Rick, Carl, Carol, Glenn,
Maggie.
Daryl, and Maggie. If they kill one of them, that'll be huge.
Yeah.
You know what's coming, right? I mean, I guess we know someone's going to go.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't want them to go.
I mean,
really
the thing
don't.
with Maggie is like it's going to be hard to do that, right? Because they've done that already. Now that she's pregnant, you've killed Lori, and she still had the baby. If you do that, it's like, oh, here we go again. It's like another another kid that lost his mommy. It just seems like it's a little repetitive. So
And like you said, we just went through this with Glenn.
yeah, so I think,
After how many times of them being separated and her not knowing if he was alive or not.
yeah. And as far as like Carl goes, I think it's like, well, you've already kind of put him through the ring. He was shot early on, in season 2, and some of this other stuff. So I don't know. I mean, maybe Rosita, maybe Eugene.
So a secondary, not the Atlanta group. Well, they're the primary characters, but
Yeah,
not the original Atlanta group.
yeah,
The newer found people.
Tara, maybe.
Tara. That would be. I like her. Actually, she grew into one of my favorite characters.
Yeah,
I like her.
I do too.
Yeah.
So I don't. Again, I really don't. I think at this point, anybody that decided to kill off is, I don't know. I think it'd be okay if we went a season and no major person got killed.
All I'm going to say is this, folks. I think that the way the producers trolled us with this Glenn disappearance, you thought he was dead for 5 episodes, and now he turns out to be alive. That's going to come back, and something's going to happen. That's all I think. And I don't think it's related to the comic books necessarily. It's going to happen in a twisty way, but something may happen with him that you don't expect. I don't think it's going to be anyone else in the major group. I hope, though, just let me say personally, that they all stick around. I like this group right now. I think they're the tightest they've ever been. There's nobody extra that needs to go. But something is very weird the way they trolled us at the beginning half of the season with Glenn. I've never seen that before. They took the credits off, actually. I mean, even when the governor was dead, his name stayed in the credits for the whole season. He was only in 2 episodes. In season 5, I guess, or season 4, excuse me. I think there's something to that. That's all I'm going to say. Leave it there.
Yeah. And same thing for Michonne. I think they finally made Michonne a compelling character after a couple seasons of just kind of having her say almost nothing and
scowling.
Yeah, just not much personality. So they finally given her enough to do for them to snatch that away from us. I think would be a serious injustice. I mean, I think to finally give somebody their moment and to be able to breathe as a character and to silence that, I think would be a bad. I think it'd just be a bad move.
And if it were any show about The Walking Dead, I would totally agree with all of what you guys have said. But it's The Walking Dead,
Yeah,
so
yeah, somebody's gonna go.
somebody's gonna go.
Yeah, somebody's gonna go. It's just I don't have any real insight. It's not like when back when when Herschel kind of gave his big speech and we were like, oh, he's a goner.
We call that, totally.
Or even with Shane, like we knew things were kind of coming to a head. I don't have any sense that there's anything leading me in that direction. So I think it'll just kind of come out and surprise everybody. So I advise everybody for this half of the season to stay current. And if you don't watch the episode as it airs that night, stay off the internet the next day, because what I've noticed is like sites like MSN, Yahoo, all the mainstream entertainment news and just news sites, they're the worst at spoiling stuff. I mean, people trolling on Facebook and Twitter aren't quite as bad. I would definitely stay off Twitter. I would definitely stay off Twitter.
Yeah. Entertainment Weekly spoiled a major thing in the last season for the people. It hadn't even aired on the West Coast yet.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember exactly what it was, but I remember it was like they spoiled something on Walking Dead last
It was the Glenn thing. You thought he was dead. I think wasn't that what it was?
They immediately went with that on their East Coast version even before the show had aired on West Coast.
But here's the thing. I travel sometimes on Sundays for business. I'm out of town or whatever it may be. I will deliberately stay off of Facebook and Twitter for the 6 or 8 hours it takes for me to get home the next day and put it in my DVR and actually watch it. I don't know why it's hard for the West Coast people to. I've talked about this with Aaron before. It's like 3 hours, man. Can't you just stay off of it for 3 hours and just catch up? I don't understand that.
Well,
no, if it's part of your job.
Yeah, I mean,
It's definitely part of Aaron's job.
Yeah, being an entertainment reporter like he is, kind of staying on top of news and things like that. Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, for most people, sure, but there's people that use Twitter, and Facebook not for entertainment purposes, but probably Twitter less so than Facebook, but keep it up with their family or just like legitimate news. I'm not going down this rabbit hole whatsoever, but this is the time of year when it's an election year. Politics are in full swing, and there's a lot of people that keep up with the goings on of those things, and to not be able to kind of stay in tune with some of that stuff, because some douchebag is gonna spoil The Walking Dead just kind of sucks. I mean,
true.
And it's
a lot of people get their news from social media. You're right. I mean, a lot of especially younger people, they don't even go to news sites. They don't read the newspapers. They don't even watch CNN or Fox News. They get their news from Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. That's their news feed, pretty much. So I do see what you do have a point there. But 3 hours,
yeah. I mean, for me, it's not that big of a deal. Like I will know coming up. It's just hard. Even because for me, if I don't watch it that night, it's gonna be the next night or maybe at lunchtime because I work from home before I get to see the next episode.
And it's gonna be a day off of Facebook, is what you're saying, or a day off
the
of
internet. I mean, I go to the news sites in the morning and stuff and check things out. And there's been times so far where I forget what it was. There was something that was spoiled comic book related just by going to like MSN or going to.
Because your cookies are set for that, right? They know you're a comic fan. They know you're a Walking Dead fan.
Yeah, or just USA Today or whatever. I mean, just it's not it's random people that are spoiling it anymore. It's major news sites. So we'll see. But yeah, I don't really have any story reason to think anything leading me down a path one way or the other.
Looking forward to it, though. I mean, there was an Entertainment Weekly article just came out. Andrew Lincoln saying, "Shocking, brilliant, and terrifying, epic mid-season premiere." Those are his words in quotes.
Yeah. Well, and so I won't mention it here what it is, but even the international trailer for the show's return potentially spoiled something pretty big. And if you follow the comic, it wouldn't be that much of a spoiler because you've seen it there. But for the show, it was definitely it potentially could be. It could be nothing. It could be a spoiler. Like I said, I won't mention it here because I don't want to ruin it for everybody. But just it's funny what gets shown in different markets. So anyway. So Robert Nigro, he basically commented and just kind of echoed what Carl said, hey, just, educated guess, wouldn't be considered spoilers, et cetera, et cetera. Dave White said, hey guys, do you foresee the TV series catching up and maybe even passing the comic book timeline similar to the same predicament now facing HBO's Game of Thrones? I don't think so, because the difference between Game of Thrones is it takes George R.R. Martin like 10 years to write the next book, and for the most part, Charlie Adlard and Robert Kirkman have been keeping the book on a monthly schedule. I mean, for All Out War, they went and did bi-weekly, so the book came out, or semi-monthly, I guess you could call it, came out twice a month for that. So, we only get 16 episodes in a year. We get pretty much 12 episodes, or 10 to 12 issues of the comic like clockwork at this point. There's still, at this point, I would say, 60 issues. But 150 just came out, and we're still, like in the TV show, we're not even up to 100 yet, if you want to draw a parallel. So we're still 60 issues behind, where the comics are. And so, in a year, I mean, granted, there's 16 episodes, and if an episode kind of coincides with an issue, I mean, it'll slowly kind of creep into that. But I don't think we're going to have a situation where, where one's going to take over the other.
I mean, this show could theoretically go on for 10, 12, 15 seasons, the way it's making money for AMC. We talked about that before. And there may be a point where that happens, maybe. But you're right, they're staying far enough behind, and there's enough filler episodes that they can do to space this thing out. So we're always a little bit behind the comics. But I think it's going to go on for many, many years either way. That's my prediction.
In the comic, this kind of like the TV show, the comic sales have increased. I mean, issue 150 came out, and it was the number one selling comic book for the month. And it didn't, 100 came out, and it blew away the number one because they did crazy cover gimmicks. I mean, I think there were like 14 covers to number 100 or something like that.
Something
so
like
collectors had to get all of them.
Yeah. I think for 150 they did 2. I think there may have been one alternate cover, and it was a $2.99, $3.99 issue. So the fact that it's staying, in the last few years, it's moved its way into the top 10, definitely the top 20 consistently, but top 10 fairly frequently, unless Marvel is blasting out a bunch of number ones or they have a bunch of new Star Wars books that are hitting. Walking Dead's pretty much hovering right around that number 10 spot, which again pretty remarkable for a comic that when it first came out was probably selling 12 to 14,000 copies, and even into the 40s and 50s, I think it was still in the low 20s. So the fact that it's sitting around 100,000 copies or 80,000 copies is pretty remarkable. So given that the sales are what they are, just on the monthly side, let alone the trades. I mean, the trades are insane. I don't see the comic going away anytime. I think the TV show will come and go, and the comic will still be going. That's just my opinion.
it'll be interesting to see how much more further the story diverges.
Yes.
As it goes along, though.
Yeah, and Gimple has said they're going to weave in and out of the comic, but they'll always kind of go back to it and then steer away from it for a while and then end up back on the same path. So there's going to be some corollaries either way, just maybe different than people expect.
Sure. Brett Jones asked, "Who meets Lucille?" My money is on Daryl.
I don't know. We kind of covered that one.
I think see previous comment.
Yeah.
BB King.
Yeah, BB King.
BB King.
Carl kind of replied back to that and said he thinks Abraham, but he doesn't think they'd make us go through another. Well, I won't repeat that last bit. Maybe a little too spoilery for you comic fans, so I'll keep that aside. Yeah. So that was all we had on the Facebook side. Like I said, it was kind of late this afternoon when I put that comment up. Moving forward, I know Aaron's pretty good about it. I'll try and get better about it if they don't go up, but putting up a discussion thread for each episode, so we have some comments for people to talk about on the show after the episode hits. And our sponsor for this week, Jim.
DCBService.com is your home for anything pop culture related that you want to get a good deal on. And I say that knowing that there are other places you can go out there online to order stuff, but DCB Service often has deals that are even lower than Amazon, lower than pretty much anywhere any other online purveyor you're going to find. If you're a fan of The Walking Dead, if you want to read the comic books, then they're there and they're at a really great price. I'm looking at the latest issue, 158 right now is only for $1.79 or 153. I'm sorry, it's only $179. But I'm looking at some other really cool stuff that you can order there. For instance, there's a Negan resin statue, normally $600. Now it's $289.06, so it's more than half off. Also, the adult coloring book for The Walking Dead. I know adult coloring books have been a hot thing lately. This shows the art of Charlie Adler in an oversized adult coloring book that you can color yourself. I guess you only need like red and purple and gray. Right?
Yeah, I was going to say, does it come with a red crayon?
You only need like a few crayons for that one. Well, I can see where that would be relaxing also. I was lucky enough to see Tony Moore signing here at Pittsburgh Mills just about a week ago at the New Dimension Comics there. And they have the Image Giant Size Artist Proof Edition of Walking Dead #1.
Ooh.
Yeah, so
I like the artwork in #1, even though it's different than the other. I like that first.
Right, most people are used to Charlie Adler's art because he's been on it for so long, but Tony Moore, his art was really cool in the first few issues. Yeah. And this is an oversized edition that allows you to really see the art. And normally, you save 40% off on that. It's only $11.99.
I am going to have to jump on that because you know my crazy affinity for large oversized books. And I missed out on the Black Science one, so I got to get this one.
Was it the first trade or just episode or just book floppy one?
Just issue #1.
Issue 1, okay.
But it's like 11 by 17 or whatever, isn't it?
Oh wow.
It is 11 by 17. It's in the artist proof edition size, much like the IDW sized artist editions, with that Tony Moore art, like nice and big and bold, black and white, great stuff. But they have statues there, action figures, T-shirts. My latest, slight addiction, I guess, on The Walking Dead are the McFarlane blind bags.
Oh yeah.
Of figurines. They have like zombies in them. They also have the main characters or whatever. You can get them at DCB Service as well. And then when you get a great price, you get 30, 40, 50% off. Like for instance, all the trade paperbacks in DC and Marvel are 50% off right now, so that's awesome. But you also get great service. They're awesome people to work with. You're working for a small, independent company, not a giant, big box corporation, so you can feel good about ordering stuff from them, and you're going to get really good customer service, personal service from them, month in and month out. So DCBService.com is your one-stop pop culture shop for everything you're looking for at a discounted price. And thank you to them for sponsoring our show.
Absolutely. Awesome. So I have a few things news-wise on my list I thought we'd just kind of talk about. One of them isn't really news, but I thought it was something worth mentioning. But the lovely Lauren Cohan was featured in Shape magazine. I guess it was maybe last month, the month before.
And did you write Hubba Hubba on that post?
I did.
Is that really news so much?
It's not really news, but
Lauren Cohan is a very attractive young lady. Okay, we all know it. It's not really news to anyone.
But what was funny, and this is where I guess a little discussion comes in. So I'm not trying to be a sexist pig, even though I'm probably being a sexist pig. But anyway, it was funny seeing her not covered in filth and dirt and wearing raggedy clothes and stuff like that. It was just kind of funny seeing her kind of out of that environment. Just like she's so associated with The Walking Dead, and she hasn't really been in a whole lot outside of that, or at least not recently. So it was just kind of funny just looking at her, doing this deal for the magazine, and it's very tasteful. I mean, it's not risque. I wouldn't think any, I wouldn't call it. I mean, Shape is a fitness magazine. It's not like some, something salacious. But anyway, that's just what struck me, more than anything, is just kind of seeing her kind of in her, outside of the filth and grime and sweatiness of The Walking Dead.
She's also playing Martha Wayne in Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice.
Yes, it was funny because I read a bunch of headlines. It was like, we've learned that Lauren Cohan has been cast in Batman vs Superman. I'm like, that movie filmed a year and a half ago. I'm pretty sure she wasn't just cast. I'm pretty sure that's
the ironic part is she's playing across. Thomas Wayne's being played by Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Yes,
who's going to be playing Negan. So kind of strange Walking Dead connection there.
Yeah, she's also in that movie The Doll, which is kind of like one of those horror, new
digital horror things. Yeah, I didn't see that one. Where's Aaron? We need him. He can tell us how good or bad it was, right?
There's the production is it's one of the Blumhouse productions. They kind of spun out of Paranormal Activity. They film. They're also the ones who put up the money for that last Shyamalan movie, The Visit. They make all these mid-range horror movies that seem to do well.
Let's spend $10 million on a movie and have it make 85.
There you go. That's it.
Nothing wrong with that.
Anyway, Walking Dead fans along the way with Lauren Cohan.
Yeah, so that's my Lauren Cohan update. Anyway, I just thought that was worth mentioning, even if it isn't technically news. The next bit I had was I saw an article on CBR where they talked to Greg Nicotero, and he had a lot to say about the premiere episode. And this is, I guess, nothing really spoilery, because we kind of saw the beginnings of it at the end of the first half of season 6. But apparently he's paralleling a lot of it to Night of the Living Dead. He really fought for, I guess, the meat of this episode to be filmed at night as opposed to during the day, which a lot of the show, when they do stuff with the walkers, a lot of it's during the day. We don't really get a whole lot of night shooting, which is funny because normally when shows want to kind of do things on the cheap, they film a lot of stuff at night because they can kind of hide things, and lighting is different. And,
which is why they shot the original Night of the Living Dead at night.
Yeah, Blade Runner. That's what it looks like it does. But he said there's an unprecedented number of walkers in this premiere episode. I think he said there were 1,300 walkers that they're sticking into this premiere episode. Yeah, he said even though we kind of saw in the quarry, at the beginning of season 6, this is nothing. I guess probably people just get more detail and other than just a pit full of distant images or whatnot.
The quarry walkers are mostly digital from what I can tell. The close-up ones obviously weren't, but the majority of them, even the ones on the road with those big overhead crane shots or helicopter shots, were digital. So if he's trying to say that there's 1,300 real or somewhat
No.
real extras, that's going to be pretty incredible. If that's what he's trying to say.
Yeah, it wasn't clear. I mean, it definitely didn't say 1,300 people. He just said 1,300
Okay.
So I couldn't tell if, I'm sure it's some sort of mix. He definitely didn't say, we have 1,300 extras or anything like that. But he did push for it. And a lot of it was because they had the break between the two halves of the season. They were able to come in and do some reshoots. And during the reshoots, I guess he was able to kind of, in post-production and things like that, was able to get more in. So I'm assuming that means that maybe Nicotero is directing the premiere episode or the second half, episode 9, basically. Just because he's pushing his agenda forward and having such a heavy hand in the, on that side of it, which I love the Nicotero directed episode. So it has me really excited for what's to come.
Can't wait. He's great.
And something I keep hearing about from Nicotero and from other sources is that there's going to be a lot of Daryl in this season.
Yeah.
They really played that aspect up, I guess, because I guess one of the big criticisms of last half of the season is that we didn't have as much. So
Yeah, I think
all you Dixons Vixens out there, just
hold your
pump the
shorts.
brakes, kids. You're fine.
I just confirmed that Nicotero is directing episode 9 of season 6. It's entitled No Way Out, written by Seth Hoffman, premiering on February 14th, 2016. He's also directing episode 12 and episode 16. So that's good.
Yeah.
And it's funny because No Way Out was the title of one of the trades that they put together. I think that was right before All Out War. I think No Way Out was.
That makes sense.
Oh no, No Way Out was further. Yeah, that about coincides to where we're at in the comics. So that's kind of cool. The last thing I have on my list, and this isn't really related to the show or the comics, but to the video game side of things, as Jim and I were talking prior to about his resurgence in the PC gaming arena, is the Telltale games. So far they've done 2 seasons of Walking Dead. They did in between seasons 1 and 2. I think they did a 1 episode, like one-off adventure. But they're doing a 3 episode. It actually releases in February. I didn't get the exact date, but Telltale's releasing The Walking Dead Michonne, and it'll be told in 3 parts. I think seasons 1 and season 2 of the Walking Dead Telltale game were 6 parts or 5 parts, 5 or 6 parts. So this will be about like half the size of those games. Which I know Walking Dead season 1 was like we talked about it back at the time, but highly critically acclaimed, made a lot of Game of the Year lists.
And the success of that has caused Telltale to take that formula of adventure game and apply it to a lot of different licenses. They've done a Borderlands game. They're doing a Game of Thrones game right now. They're about to do a Batman game.
Yes.
They did a Fables game, Borderlands, all kinds of different IPs are being in the Telltale treatment.
Back to the Future.
As of late, Back to the
Back to the
Future.
Future. That was a good one.
That was actually before Walking Dead. But yeah, they even
Right.
got like Michael J. Fox in to do one of the voice. Not I think for like the last episode, maybe they got him to come back and do it.
My daughter and I right now are playing through Minecraft Story Mode.
Nice.
From Telltale, and Patton Oswalt does the lead voice of the main character. So
you say Michonne, is Denai Guerrero going to be doing the voice?
No, because this is like comic book Michonne. This isn't movie.
Gotcha.
TV show Michonne. So this actually takes place. This is very tied into the comics. So this takes place during issues 126 to 139, which, like I said, 150 just came out. So it's really like right after All Out War. So I guess Michonne. I guess this could be considered extremely mild spoilery. I have no details on it. I haven't read this part yet. But apparently Michonne kind of leaves and comes back. And apparently this game kind of details what happened to her, while she was gone and why she came back. So like I said, I haven't read those issues of the comic yet. But it's right. It's right after All Out War. So. It'd be interesting. I haven't, funny enough, I haven't finished season 2 of the Telltale game. I did finish season 1. It was phenomenal. And I got, I think, through episode 3 of season 2, but I think there's 1 or 2. I think those last 2 episodes I need to finish.
I liked it. I just thought the ending was incredibly depressing.
Oh yeah. Well, for season 1 it was for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They both were.
Oh wow. I need to go back.
They're worth playing though. They're good.
It's a lot of fun games. And you don't have to be button smashing. It's a lot of just, letting the game run itself. You choose your path, and it's fun. It's a great story.
It's more about the way you interact with different characters.
Yeah.
Like the way you talk to them, they remember things that you say or things that you do, and it's more of that than Twitch gaming, as it were. So that's awesome.
Yeah, so look, like I said, I think any day now with at least the first part, and apparently once they get past the 3rd part of this, then we'll start to hear more about a season 3 of The Walking Dead. So it looks like they're definitely going to do a season 3 as a formal, 5-6 part, edition. But again, Telltale's been kind of churning these things out, and they've all done fairly well. So
there's also a game being made by Overkill Studios with Robert Kirkman.
Yes.
Looking over at Starbreeze, the people that made the Darkness games.
Yes.
For the 360, they also did the incredible Riddick games, Dark Athena and
Escape from Butcher Bay.
Escape from Butcher Bay, both really much better games than they should have been. They also worked on the last Wolfenstein game as well, which again, a much better game than it probably should have been. They're doing a game called Overkill's The Walking Dead, but the Overkill software group under Starbreeze, and Robert Kirkman is having a hand in it. They don't have any gameplay so far, but Overkill is it's like one of those boutique video studios, kind of like Platinum Games or Kojima Studios. They're going to come out with something that's going to be a lot different than what we've seen before. A lot of the trailer itself, it doesn't really show a whole lot. It has a little bit of in-game footage, but it's definitely going to be more action oriented, more over the top, and definitely looks cool. So it's supposed to be releasing this year. So
yeah, and hopefully it'll be an actual good. I'm assuming it's going to be, if I recall, I should say it's a first-person shooter.
it's the first person experiencer.
Hopefully it's better than
Survival Instinct.
Yeah, which is I
It's
think
one of the worst rated games on Metacritic. If you look it up, it's like really it's down there. That was a terrible game.
What about the mobile game that they were pushing? What was that one? Did
I
anyone play
forget
that
what
one?
it's called. Survival Instinct, maybe.
Was it also called Survival Instinct? It was on mobile only, right? It was when Daryl was pushing her.
Yeah,
Maybe it was the same game.
yeah, it's more like that's like a typical mobile, like free to play type game, freemium or whatever you want to call it. Where it's free to play, but I'm sure you could like pay money to do things faster or level up. I haven't played it, so I'm not sure. I can't speak to
The,
its quality.
the Overkill game is a first person game. I'm looking at the trailer now. It looks like very much survival horror, maybe in the vein of a Resident Evil style game. It looks great though. But
Dead
first
Island
person.
or Left 4 Dead maybe or something.
This looks, but the graphics are intensely great. Starbreeze uses their own proprietary engine,
Gotcha.
and it just looks incredible. So
Cool. But that's really all I had on my list of stuff to talk about. I know, Jim, I'm not sure what you have. I know Craig had some Fear the Walking Dead stuff to mention.
last Craig.
All right, sure. Well, Fear the Walking Dead ends on April 10th, directly after The Walking Dead Season 6 wraps up. So if you all are needing your fix of the Manoas, Clarks, and Salazars, you're going to get it. Just some news that we heard about since we stopped talking about Fear the Walking Dead. There's a couple of AMC very light not spoiler, but like teaser trailers on YouTube or AMC.com. You can get them right now. They show absolutely nothing, but they're giving you a little teaser into Season 2. We know they moved the filming from Vancouver to Mexico, actually Cabo, Mexico, because most of, or part of this front half of the season is going to be on the water. And this is where they filmed Titanic and a few other big movies like Master and Commander. So this is a big water movie studio down there. So they're moving it down there. So we're going to see exactly where the cast left off with Victor Strand, the eccentric millionaire, it seems like, on the water. So that's really good to see. I'm really excited about that. Some casting news as well. We've got Doug Ray Scott in some unknown role going to be in Fear Season 2. He's from Hemlock Grove and a few other things. He almost was cast as Wolverine, I think. So we've got that.
Yeah.
Also, Daniel Zavato from It Follows, it says here, and also Arturo Del Puerto from Ride Along 2 has joined in Season 2 as a recurring character. His name is Carlos. That's all we know so far. So there is some casting news, but really very little. And of course, we can't forget the continuation during The Walking Dead of Flight 462, Fear the Walking Dead. We have a whole story to wrap up with that thing.
Oh boy.
And actually tying into that, when you watch these little teaser trailers on AMC or on YouTube about Fear the Walking Dead, you see this big shadow of a plane go over the water. It's really funny. So you definitely have to check that out. They're definitely trying to tie in this, the Flight 462, which I suppose will be wrapped up early on in Season 2. We'll see what happens with that. So that's all the Fear the Walking Dead news there is. It's fit to print right now.
And if you want to be totally drenched in the zombie filth of Walking Dead news, much like our heroes are at the end of that episode, Entertainment Weekly all week is they're coming out with a Walking Dead issue on February 11th, right ahead of the premiere. And all week they're doing major interviews with the cast and crew. Big interview with Andrew Lincoln yesterday. Big interview with Craig Nicotero today. So if you are totally, you want to get every little morsel of Walking Dead news you can before the big premiere, check those out. And check out the February 11th issue of Entertainment Weekly, all Walking Dead centric.
Mm-hmm. Cool. What else?
Can't wait to start it up again.
Jimmy, got anything else?
No, that's about it.
I don't have anything either. I mean, at this point, they're being a little close to the vest, I think, on trailers and stuff. This is Tuesday as we record this. The premiere is Sunday, so I think pretty much everything that's out there is out there. And we'll just wait and be back Monday to get back on the horse and start cranking out shows weekly. Hopefully, Aaron will be back. Back with us Monday.
Yeah, I'm sure Rich will be back too.
Yeah. So I think it'll be, like I said, normally we try and record on Monday nights. I think it's just one of those situations where if we could push a day and record on Tuesday and there's more of us that'll be there, we may do that, which means the episode will go up Wednesday. So, but typically we don't push too far beyond that. So, so like I said, so moving forward, expect an episode Tuesday or Wednesday. And if Jordan comes back, we'll make him edit, stay up all night and edit, and he'll get it posted back on the schedule.
Make the millennial do it.
That's right.
He's done a share. We're 150 episodes in, right?
Yeah, Jim and I have done twice that.
In our sleep.
Yes.
I got to edit 4 podcasts when I'm done with this. What are you talking about?
You ain't kidding. I've got 6 new episodes of Auto Chat we have to do. We are backed up with new car reviews. So we got the Mitsubishi Outlander, Lexus ES350, the Honda Civic, Mazda 3, Honda Pilot, and Toyota Highlander all waiting for us.